Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beginning of the end of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Up until this point, we have made our way through every case throughout the first game and every case throughout the second game. There's been some bumps along the way, we've had our highs, we've had our lows, but no matter how we got here, we have now finally arrived at the grand finale, the final chapter of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, the resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And so, without further ado, let's dive in and see how this whole thing ends. Which, by the way, bit of a ballsy title for your final chapter. And it's very, very dramatically displayed with the cursive writing and the solid black background. I deliberately chose to start recording now instead of waiting until we got back to the titles because I wanted to keep that kind of aesthetic going. Also, the music's already playing and I haven't even progressed the text box yet, so you know things are getting intense. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. Miss Susato? Ah! But already? Really? We just started! And you're already throwing me to the ground. It's been 1 minute, and we've barely begun the case, and you're already trying to kill me. Hey, remember yesterday when you had the chance to take out your father and you didn't? Yeah, that was great. She even got into the pose that she always gets in when she's about to go, hi-ya! And kick someone's ass, and then she just didn't. Like, they dangle it in front of me, and then they just yanked it away, because they're just such assholes about it. Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on it. I like the idea that he says all this while still upside down on the floor, sprawled on his back. I'm so sorry. Of course, I know I can be rather Susato, you are by far the most competent person in this game. You have not displayed even a shred of incompetence at any point throughout the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Don't even try to say that. I shan't let you down. You've never let me down before. Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Ugh. Such a wasted opportunity for a great ass-kicking of Mikutaba. Susato doesn't know usual self at all. Can you blame her? But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... Good morning, sir! Oh, yeah, see, I forgot you were in this game. After everything we got revealed yesterday, it's like, oh yeah, you're on trial. Whoops, forgot. Lord Van Zieks! Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says, I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. Yeah, but he likes to portray himself that way. The Reaper? I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all of this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zieks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. Well, we know that's not the case. That having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod to wield the deadly blade of justice, for I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense that's conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you, Lord Clint Van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. It's all that matters. I know you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You our lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Hey, so, some things happened yesterday.
Oh! I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head.
I'm pretty sure his head is always clear, but not exactly in the way that you would want it to be. I thank you.
Aww.
That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris.
Oh?
Sort of subdued, I suppose?
I am not.
What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Sai's laboratory.
Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now.
Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings, seeing as it's the end.
Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready.
For what?
Oh, yes. Would you take this?
Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack?
Yes, it's a lucky charm. Oh, a little Hurley that I made once.
A little Hurley? That's more like a Harley to me.
If for some reason you completely run out of options in this trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can.
What? Pull his ears?
That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it.
What? What? Okay, can we pull it now? Can we pull the ears now to see what it does? Can we? Pull the ear. Go ahead, pull the ear. Let's see what happens.
What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him?
I think it's how the world sees him. Are you alright? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are veritably boring into the poor doll's ears because I want to pull them. Oh, sorry, just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now? I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. No, I want to know now! To become a proper don't say Leighton is forever ruined. Whereas another series may have ruined a certain other word. Leighton has ruined a true gentleman always does this or that, Luke, my boy.
But I want to know, but I want to know.
But I really do. I really do. I want to pull the thing now. What is it, like a freaking, is it like the wish bag from the SpongeBob movie where you only get one chance to pull it or else it flies away? Because I doubt that very much. What is inside this thing?
What the, you think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom, and it seemed very different to normal.
We're gonna walk in there and the courtroom's gonna be blown to bits. It's gonna be all on fire. It's like at the end of Dual Destinies, just a burning, rampaging hellscape that we have to stand trial in. Yes, it will seem that a certain someone has decided to put out all the stops. What does that mean? I'm guessing it means Kazuma's got some kind of trick up his sleeve.
What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris?
I don't care.
I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come home at the time I left this morning. Oh, I see.
Was Professor Nikotaba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato?
Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed to the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all.
They?
Father and Judge Jikogo, I mean.
Judge Jikogo too?
That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Yeah.
Good luck then, Bruno. Good luck, Susie.
Yes, thanks, Iris.
And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well.
Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very... This is such a weird sight. Like, this doesn't feel like a thing that should ever happen, this conversation right now. Like, Iris talking to Van Zieks. This should never happen. She's talking to him as like they've been best friends for life. It's like, no, you have no idea who these... Has she even talked? I don't think she's even spoken to Van Zieks at all. Maybe once at the end of the first game because she was our partner for the final trial. But even then, I don't think she's ever exchanged words with Van Zieks at all in her life. This is weird to see, especially with how calm and like almost tender Van Zieks is being. Once again, I thank you for delicious tea. It was very soothing.
Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks.
Also, what the hell is Iris preparing for? What, she got a hot date later? What the hell is she preparing for? Lord Van Zieks has always been a formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today, I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kasuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Here we go. Here it is. We're in the endgame now, ladies and gentlemen. November 3rd, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Where's the judge? It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today.
Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, look!
What? What?
So, ask and thou shalt receive. Oh, okay. This is not good. This is not good. This is
Not a great way to start. We're after a very, very bad start, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that would explain what they meant when they said that the courtroom was different today. Jesus. Okay. So you're like mega evil. Oh my god. This screams of Spirit of Justice when Queen Garon's like, I'll be taking care of this myself because I trust no one. I must proclaim my innocence as prosecutor. This is not good. The person who may very well be masterminding this game is in the judge's seat and he controls everything. This is not good. Because he must have known beforehand. Oh, great. So now, I have Strongheart, Kazuma, and Van Zieks in the same room talking to each other, and all three of them are like have minute differences in the voices that I've given them. Great job, me. Oh, God almighty. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. This is not good! No, that's not good at all. That's very bad, actually. What? The situation is framed. As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. This is what you call. You are literally the judge, jury, and executioner right now. What do you mean a fair judicial process? In other words, a collection of your accolades, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zieks. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Don't like that. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Beric von Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. It's literally, we've just started! And out of the gate, Lord Strongheart is the judge, jury, and executioner. The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daily Vigil, who had been given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when he in fact wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear that he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation, because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. This individual is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed 1 day earlier. That was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss that issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy... Guys, the autopsy report was outdated. Here's the updated one. Oh my god. Good Lord Almighty. At the time of death was 5 p.m. on the 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse.
My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There is evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly.
Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes. Especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using this individual to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating the precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now! Who's it gonna be? Hey, Gina. An old familiar face. State your name and occupation for the court.
Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard.
A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina, again.
What's your problem, Otto? What's without Gina again? Look, eh? Yeah. The boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did.
Gina, we got you cleared of a murder charge in the last game, Gina. What are you talking about? Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean?
He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have been able to have done that if you were sent away for life or possibly executed for murdering someone, which we helped prove you didn't do, Gina. What are you talking about?
Told me that life can have a purpose, so that's why I'm the best person to be standing there speaking for him. Oh, Gina.
Right. All out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes. No. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face, Lord Strongheart knew. Of course he did. He's got to be the main mastermind in the game. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report.
Coming right up, sir.
All right, Gina, lay it on us. Witness testimony, the victim's movements.
I got detectives were supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told, but a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a lot of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day.
Wait, oh no, oh, wait a minute, the ticket, oh, I guarantee you that the smuggled goods were being smuggled overseas on the Blackbird line, guarantee you. Oh wait, Blackbird line, wait, no, what was it? It was the SS Grouse, yeah, it was called the SS Grouse, that's what it was. The Blackbird line is just the company or whatever, the ship was called the SS Grouse. I guarantee you that this is gonna be, that it's going to be revealed that the smuggled goods were being smuggled aboard that ship. I guarantee that's where this is going. Guarantee that's where this is going. You know, it won't be long until we find out for sure, though. Smuggled goods?
I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book.
Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So, Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets, It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge.
And do we know where the dealings were taking place at this time?
In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club, and on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation. So it wasn't on a ship. We haven't heard anything about that. Doesn't sound right at all. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question the accused, Beric von Zieks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then.
Oh my! But Lord von Zieks has made no mention of this at all. Well, I'm sorry. Would it not make more sense for them to have been smuggled overseas? I don't buy this for a second.
Very well then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Alright, well, step one is, Gina, you gotta be way more specific with us. I need to know exact details about when exactly this smuggling thing happened. Okay. Give me details.
Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember.
As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find the name of that club. That won't be necessary.
What?
It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name.
This is a closed trial. What does that matter? I don't know what the fuss is about. It's what all I gotta do is read it out. And I could too. I got this reading game buttoned up now. So can't I show you what I can do? Come on, what's the arm?
The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, it's a closed trial. Who cares? This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. But, no, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Kazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive.
What then? I get to show off my reading skills.
Yeah, your immaculate reading skills.
Apparently, the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club for all the goods.
Yup, there it is. Okay, so we learned earlier that she can read to some extent, but not very well. And we also know that there was a ship called the SS Grouse. And I told you, if there was ever a place for this to happen, they'd be smuggled in overseas, and we'd have just the letter of introduction to prove it. Good, that's a damn good thing I checked this yesterday. We'd have been stuck here forever. Objection! Would have been really awkward if the music didn't actually stop there. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. And as I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on October 31st may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude toward our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? It was a ship. And if you need further proof of it, then all you need to... I have a passport here that was dated departure within 1 week from the 1st of October. So, you know, there's your proof right there, buddy. A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here! Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for a passage upon a steamship, yes? The SS Grouse. There you go.
Objection!
Oh, what now? So, there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic that... Oh, do tell. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st of November. Ha! The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, the 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked in British... That only helps... Kazuma, buddy, that only helps my position because I'm saying that he was killed the day before. So, the fact that he was on that ship and that it hadn't arrived in the country yet only further substantiates my position here, Kazuma. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging. Oh my god. That fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating SS Cross on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. Okay, like, I call it a gavel, but it's not a gavel. It's a freaking horse-headed staff that clangs. Like, that is a really intimidating sound. In that case, the counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence to substantiate your claim that the victim was, I have it right here, and it's the passport!
Take that!
What's this? A passport? Dated October 31st? What are you suggesting? It's not exactly rocket science. I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility that he wasn't even in the country! Ugh. Order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Ha 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 ha! I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, a victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigation and the line the prosecution's been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Osogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Does that trouble you, Lord Strongheart? Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. What? The Reaper? I don't buy this. I'm sorry, I don't buy that Gregson was the, really? What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson, yeah, okay. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission we was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination? You think Gregson could pull off an assassination? Really? Really? That's what you're going with? Okay. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson?
What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never do nothing like that.
And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense.
No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion.
We did not do that. Van Zieks did that. We had no part in that.
That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper.
Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Barak Van Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went abroad the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh? You have some sort of reason for doubting the assertion, do you, counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Nikotaba and Judge Juhoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. Oh, would we have? Oh, would we have, though? Because I don't think those two are very trustworthy. Specifically Nikotaba, but anyway. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board that ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? Inspector Gina Lestrade.
What?
The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey.
You're lying! Even if all them bludgers were got taken out of coming. The boss weren't the Reaper! Poor Gina.
There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors.
I heard nothing. I don't believe a word of it.
Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss.
I do.
I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't buy this. I do not buy for a second that Gregson would have ever done this, let alone been capable of doing it.
Yeah, this notebook does have a lot of stuff about what the Reaper got up to this past 10 years. Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was October 31st. It's a grass for the place on that date and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal who got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all.
Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established fact here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the... Excuse me, I'm dying. Sorry. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Ah! So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on October 31st.
How do you read this then?
Reading's still not her strong suit.
That ain't the problem, alright? No.
It kind of is the problem. Gina, you're great. We've come to appreciate you a lot over the past 2 games, but you still, let's be frank here. Reading's not your strong suit. You're still learning, so I think we might want to give this to someone else.
It's a funny name, in English, hard to read.
So it's someone from overseas?
Let me have a bash on it. Say she wrote.
Oh, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, Sashiro.
So the judge.
You maybe?
What? It can't be. Sashiro Jikogu?
But that's Judge Jikogu.
Sashiro Jikogu. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jikogu. I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated.
As I said, the Reaper failed.
Oh.
Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector, personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barrack von Zieks. It's an undeniably logical argument.
Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Oh? Van Zieks?
Oh, no, don't. You still have your freaking... Well, I don't need to see the bottom of your boot, nor do I need to see that you have your freaking glass again.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice while I stand accused of murder.
You didn't need to do either of the things you just did. You didn't need to swing your boot up onto the table, and you didn't need to... How did you even get the freaking chalice? Is there just a butler in the courtroom that's just constantly bringing you new hollow chalices? Lord Van Zieks, the hell are you doing?
The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You have returned to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective.
Eh? What? That's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector.
Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony.
What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance!
My lord, the defense requested that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. Oh boy. At once, my lord. This is not going very well. Alright. Well, again, there's no contradictions, so I'm just gonna start pressing until something comes up. In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper.
No, you ain't at all. That ain't no explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and the notebook saying what he found out.
If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminals classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper.
One arm? What are you all about?
The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head. Kazuma, shut up. I like you a lot, man, but you gotta shut up right now. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Should we hear a reference to the gentleman's club? Excuse my yawn there. I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone.
Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there.
But of course, the inspector was not there. Because of the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the password found in the victim's metal Wait, how do you know about that? Wait, whoa, wait a minute, how do you know about that? Wait, no, Kazuma, you're not getting away with that, buddy. No, nobody knew about this. We didn't know about this until yesterday. Nobody, excuse me. Nobody knew about that trunk until literally yesterday. We found it because that stupid sandwich guy snapped it away. So how do you... No, they wouldn't do that. No, you would not do that. They would not do that. You wouldn't pull the trope, the Ace Attorney formula of the prosecutor. No, you wouldn't pull that. No, with Kazuma, you wouldn't dare do that. Oh my god. Okay, so I didn't point it out, but I noticed it, and I didn't think it was worth pointing out because I just figured it's just a scrape, whatever. But on the trunk, on Gregson's trunk, on the side, there's this little slash line. And my immediate thought was, oh, okay, so it's just a scrape. What does that have to do with anything? But if you think about this in the context of a certain object that someone else might have on their hand, or on their personage right now, who they say stands by them to the ends of the earth, then you might be able to think that it's Kazuma's sword, because he shouldn't have known about this. The only way he would have known about this trunk is if he was there with Gregson on the day that he was killed. How the hell did I... Okay, I don't know how the hell I didn't notice this. I did notice. I didn't think to point out because, like, okay, whatever, it's a slash. Big whoop. But this is pivotal. This is pivotal right here. Because it proves that he knew. It proves not only that he knew, but he was there. He was there that day. He was on the ship with Gregson, and he used his sword to try to attack him, to try to either defend Joji Kogo or something along those lines. He thinks he's the Reaper, and he wanted to stop him. He attacked him, and for all we know, he might have been the one to kill him. I don't know if they have the guts to do that. I don't know if they have the guts to make him the final killer. But if nothing else, we know conclusively that at the very least, he was there, and he tried to attack him. Holy shit. That was not on the bingo card. That was not on the bingo card. Everyone has a secret. Everyone in this game has a secret. This was not on the bingo card. What the hell? Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. No, not back to the one. No. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little sharp or something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this. No, you're not overthinking anything. You're not overthinking anything. You got him. You nailed him. You have him on the ropes. I am not okay right now.
This is not okay. Like, they've done this before. They did it in Turnaround of Eyes. They did it in
Bridge to the Turnabout, and I mean, you can technically say that they did it in Turnabout Revolution, but we kind of already knew that was gonna be like we knew the moment much like Lord Strong, we knew the moment we met her that she was gonna be the final big bad. So I don't really necessarily count that, but because the thing is, like, if you would ask me at the beginning of this game if they would have had the guts to do something like this, I've been like, nah, no way. No way they'd have the guts to make Kazuma the final big bad. But now, I have no idea. Like I said, all bets are off. Nothing's off the table. Everything's on the line. They might actually do it. They might have the guts to make him the final big bad. Because we know he was there. We know, because there's no other way for him to know about the trunk. We know he was there. We know he attacked him. We know that his sword slash is there. Oh my god. There's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court. Guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Koga was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. Except for the part where assassin was literally right goddamn there, which raises some interesting questions, but what do I know, I suppose. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on! That's absurd! To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond the sane person's comprehension. But... oh, now what?
What? I just had enough of this!
Gina!
All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people, it's godless! Come on, Otto!
Yes?
Why did you say nothing?
I've been saying plenty.
Why are you yelling out objection or something? What? You've got to find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You've got to work out who it is. Please, for the boss.
I found one. Not in your test. That, you know what? That's actually really clever. It's really clever because your brain is trained to look for inconsistencies in the testimony. But this time it's not in the testimony. It's in the prosecutor's statements where the testimony, or where the inconsistency is. So you're trained to ignore everything else and focus solely on the testimony. But that's where they get you. That's where they hide the twist. Right there. In plain sight. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. Oh, shut the hell up. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your word. Not a chance in hell. Is that clear?
I've had it with the lawyer. It's lies every bleeding place you look in the world, isn't it? Well, I've had enough. Gina.
So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind.
To do what, Mr. Naruhodo?
There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd.
Oh, do you mean?
I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. So how do we point this out? I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. How do we point this out? Because we can't present testimony because nothing they said is contradicting. It's in what Kazuma said. Maybe if I press for more information, I'll get something. I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss for words. I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve.
Eh?
What do you mean? Amongst everything that we've heard during the cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency?
Really, Otto?
I don't quite know what it means yet. But yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by, I can't believe it, Kazuma Asogi. By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. While I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals the alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi said that would be Gregson's trunk that he should not have known about, and yet he knew about it anyway? This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain? And a relatively fresh one, too. He knows. What? You mean that ain't greasing all the boss's fish and chips? No one in their right mind thought that, Gina. Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it! Me! With me nose for trouble! Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because, yep, we know. We saw it. We heard it. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport? Hey, but you said it was a metal trunk. You were very specific about that. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. At the port of Dunkirk on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... I don't think they have the guts to do it. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know if they have the guts to do it or not. Cause we can prove, well, okay, we can't. We have evidence to suggest that he did it. But I don't know if they actually have the guts to pull a twist like that. At this point, I have no idea what to expect. At this point, anything goes. If Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Miss Naruhodo. Surely you don't think. Ha 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 ha. Come on, Ryunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. Well, luckily for you, we have exactly that. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there? With Gregson? There's a clue that you've overlooked! A secret that Trunk can tell us! I can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it, but I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Not in the trunk, but outside the trunk. On the side, in the form of a sword slash. This is your proof. What do you say to that, Prosecutor Asogi? Personally, I think tying the defense count to the inspector's trunk and tossing it in a sea would be more helpful. What? At least that way, London's courtrooms will be safe from his destructive accusations. I believe that was a rather long-winded way of telling you you're wrong. What, are you kidding? What? What else could it be? What? Really? What do you mean? The defense... Are you kidding? How else do you explain that? How else do you explain? Oh, wait. Don't tell me. Let me guess. Because the sword slash is going inside the case. I have to open. Let me guess. I have to open the case. I have to open up the case, and then I show this. I swear to God, if that's what. Don't even try to tell me that's what stopped me. Is it? Okay, so it's the same. So it's not that? How can it not be that? How can it possibly not be that? It's literally...
It's literally proof that he slashed it with the sword. What do you mean? I can't, I don't understand. How is this not it? Oh, that worked! Oh, that worked! This game's story is incredible. I'm really intrigued. I really want to see how it all ends, but good lord almighty, I don't think I've ever had this much problem with presenting the correct piece of evidence when you know damn well what the logic behind it is. Okay. I'm getting annoyed. There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it, here in this courtroom, for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Osogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Called it! I knew it! I freaking knew it! Oh no! The tip is broken. Oh. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Osogi? Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Osogi? Yes, on October 31st, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Chikogu? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You never going to do it? We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Chikogu arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan.
You went to Judge Chikogu's cabin?
Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then what became of Chikogu? Gregson was no assassin, so the Mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder. But if you did nothing as you claim, then how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. What? The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case, and accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. Oh, give me that thing and I'm gonna examine every square inch of it. As you wish, my lord. The great sword Karuma has been entered into the court record. I don't care if all I find is an Easter egg of Von Karma. I'm checking every square inch of this thing. Page 4 of evidence. We've entered page 4 evidence. When was the last time we had 4 pages of evidence? I think it's like Rise from the Ashes and the Grand Turnabout, and maybe that's it? Because even Bridge of the Turnabout, I don't think exceeded 3 pages of evidence. Maybe Pharaoh might Turnabout? Maybe? I don't know about that one, though. It's been a while since I think Grand Turnabout, Rise from the Ashes, in this case, are the only... I mean, I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting, but those are the ones that immediately stick out as cases that have 4 pages of evidence. Anyway, so... There's no point in checking the tip, because we already know that it's gonna... we can't seem to examine that. Can we examine this? Karuma, the Great Blade. Such a thing of beauty, I want to gaze on it for hours. Oh. Okay. Is there anything of interest at all for me to examine on the sword? I can examine this. So there's only one... I can't examine the handle. I can examine the tip, so I guess I'll check this. The tip of the great sword, broken. Such a shame, it's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Okay, honestly, this is kind of underwhelming. I honestly, I expected there to be a lot more to be able to check here. Because, I mean, it's Kazuma's sword. I thought there'd be something more interesting here, but I guess not. Alright then. Worth a shot. It's always better to check now than to not check, so now we know that that's all there is to check there. Must take immediate action now to verify whether Sashiro Jikoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. I'm sure he's fine. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes mission for 24 hours, it's only natural that a question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say you think Joji Koku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zieks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. I'm pretty sure I don't think they would. I think he's fine. I think he's just fine. Order in court. We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no! Not Judge Jikoku! No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake. My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we are unable to confirm Mr. Jikoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Ah! Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Yeah, I think he's gonna be fine. I'm not worried at all. I am not worried at all. I guess we're still here. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Jikoku... Yeah, I have no concern whatsoever for him. I am completely confident that he is safe. There's no way. Yeah, I don't. I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, I only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The little Mr. Shroom's doll that Iris gave us! Yeah, I remember, okay. Honestly, I was expecting that we'd have to wait till the end of the trial to... Well, I guess unless it's the end of the trial, but I strongly doubt it, so let's just pull it and see what happens. Here goes then. I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo! No looking back. Heave! That scream! Sounding Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes? Where are you? Here, my... It's a walkie-talkie? It's actually kind of clever. Here, my dear fellow, here! It's the felt doll talking! Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo! Stop what you can! Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave! Ow. Oh my god, it's actually... Okay. That's honestly kind of clever.
Please, my dear fellow, you don't need to pull my ear off.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you?
Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse.
The SS Grouse?
She left Dover last night, and after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour.
You've taken a ship to France?
Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump into the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by the train to the port, in order to board the vessel in time.
So, you mean you've already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place?
Listen, Naruhodo. Play. What is my name?
Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective.
Recited to perfection. Well done.
You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. I don't think you understand what that word means. Ow, ow, ow.
Mr. Sato, gently with the genius's ear, please.
Oh my, I'm ever so sorry.
No. No.
Ah, there you are.
No. No.
No! No! Why? Why? Why me? Why? You couldn't make me play as Sholmes? All I gotta play is this sack of shit. All I gotta play is this unmitigated turd blossom. Why? Of all the people in the world, I'd rather play as the bunny rabbit than the freaking Mikotaba. Oh my god.
At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined that notebook, I recalled my steamship ticket. Ah, but of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name.
Yes.
You did, didn't you?
We've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid to say...
Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That'd be wonderful.
Until later, then.
Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first.
Ow, 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 ow! I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operate in that way in the first place, Mr. Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris' invention, not mine.
Okay, then, so are we in investigation mode now?
Also know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes. We have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotaba, when you have a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin.
Huh. So, remember when I said that we would never see Beef Stroganoff again? Well, apparently that was, actually, wait, no, it doesn't look like, because his hair looks like it's differently colored. And also we're on a different ship, so, but I'm sorry, that he has the same damn face. He has the same damn face as Beef Stroganoff.
I don't believe an investigation of this cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Why are you loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chick?
You can't be serious! Are you kidding me? Really? So, on one ship, we have Beef Stroganoff, and on the other ship, we have Chicken Stroganoff! Because this is just one big joke. Oh my god. Really? That's the name? Oh my god. And you're okay. Oh my god. That's honestly great.
Great detective? I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikotaba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet, I only know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman, currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotaba. I'm sure it was. Three days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see, looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jikogu. There is no one with that name on board, but we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern Man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Sashiro's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotaba, be a good man and draw this sailor's attention away, will you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't Great Detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right?
Fellas, can he hear you?
Curses! The plan is ruined! And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes.
Oh, don't you all start acting high and mighty now.
Forget it, cabin door is locked. Even if I'm not here, you cannot get inside.
That voice is gonna kill my throat here before long.
Mikotaba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you?
Opening any locks?
Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner, how could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man! So, the game is afoot!
So are we in investigation mode now? Okay. What the hell? So, for odds, the hits just keep on coming. So first of all, Kazuma on the ship with the sword. Can we chill for a moment, please? Second of all, I don't. So we're on the ship. Like honestly, I think this kind of reminds me of the crossover where Phoenix and Maya are trying to hold out in court while Layton and Luke are going to the puzzle tower to solve puzzles and engage in battle with some stupid whatever. Kind of the same thing here. But why do I have to play as Mikotaba? Why can't you have me play as Sholmes or a Rock, for God's sake? Like, at least, oh my god, at least a Rock isn't, like, infuriating to deal with. Can I play, also, but then, furthermore, we meet Chicken Stroganoff, which I don't know what to expect anymore, but I'm gonna end the episode here, and then we'll pick up the investigation tomorrow. So, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I'll catch you all tomorrow for some more of the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Goodbye!